My name's Rob King and I am a participant at Achieve Tahoe. I started at Achieve Tahoe in June of 2017. I participated in the military camp, wakeboarding and water skiing down in the Sacramento area. I served in the United States Navy from 1985 to 1989. I was on the USS Samuel B. Roberts, FFG 58, stationed out of Newport, Rhode Island, and traveled the world. I was in a farming accident in October of 2015, and I lost my right leg above the knee. I did not know if I would participate in sports after my accident. I had a void after the accident. I was depressed a little bit. I had wakeboarded before the injury, and getting back on the wakeboard just made me feel alive again. It just catapulted me into doing those things that I had done before the accident. In January of 2018, I participated in the military camp for snowboarding and skiing at Alpine Meadows and Squaw Valley. So I started snowboarding in 1986 and I loved it. I didn't do it enough. When I started snowboarding again, I did have fear of not being the snowboarder I once was. So learning to do it again was tough, but with the help of Achieve Tahoe, I feel like I'm on my way to being the snowboarder that I was. After the camp, we had heard about this Feel Good Friday, which is a fundraiser for Achieve Tahoe at the Dubliner. And I was fortunate enough to meet another instructor that I had not known all week, Rachel. And we had a dart game and I let her win.
When I met Rob, I observed he was having a lot of fun. And seemed like he always had a smile on his face, and we just had a really great connection from the start.
We made arrangements to go snowboarding the following week.
I've never had so much fun as I had with Rob snowboarding.
We actually started hiking that following summer, short hikes, a mile at best. I loved getting back out into hiking and nature and just being out in the outdoors. So my daughter, Hannah, was interested in hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, and I asked Hannah if I could hike it with her, and she said yes.
My dad kind of invited himself. So I was speaking with my best friend Lexi, who also hiked with us, and we were talking about what we want for the future. We wanted to set a goal, and that was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. And of course, once we decided, we started talking to everyone about it and telling everyone our plans, and that's kind of when my dad jumped on ship with us.
So then I told Rachel my story of wanting to hike the Pacific Crest Trail with Hannah, and she laughed at me. Rachel said she would never hike over 10 miles a day.
I've been backpacking a long time, close to 20 years. The longest trip before the PCT was 10 days, and I never wanted to hike more than 10 miles a day. I thought that was crazy. And you know, after a while, when you're on the trail, 10 miles you do that sometimes right after breakfast.
I did not know if it was possible, but I was on a mission to make it possible. After my experience with Achieve Tahoe, I felt like I could do anything. We started our Pacific Crest Trail hike in April of 2019, and we finished November 3rd of 2019. It was approximately seven months that it took us to walk the 2,650 miles. The most challenging part of the Pacific Crest Trail hike was when I had problems with the prosthetic. Any problem that we had, mentally, I would kind of like go to that dark place, but I always remembered my moments at Achieve Tahoe, just like, hey, how can we do this differently, better to move forward in the trip?
One of the biggest challenges was in the first 100 miles when Rob was having difficulty with the fit of his socket. The socket kept slipping off, we thought due to the sweat, and we were trying to problem solve how to reduce the sweat. And we would have to stop every half mile to reposition the socket, and it was really frustrating for him, and it slowed us down a lot. We figured out, since Rob had lost a lot of weight, he needed to have a smaller liner. His prosthetist ordered one and was able to deliver it to the next town, which solved the problem.
I went through 5 knees on the Pacific Crest Trail. Along the route, I was fortunate to have access to my prosthetist, Michael Carlson, at Elevation Prosthetics in Roseville.
So Rob's prosthetic knee has a microprocessor in it. It requires to be recharged every couple days depending on how many miles we do in a day. We use an external battery to charge the knee, and when that external battery gets low, we have a solar panel to charge the external battery. So we decided that I carry the battery and the solar panel because Rob's trail name is Tumbleweed, and he has a propensity to tumble.
I never fell, I just tumbled.
We averaged, with food, about 35-pound packs when we were in full swing. The battery in itself and the solar panel were close to 6 pounds, which is a lot of weight.
In Washington State, it rained probably 22 days out of the 30 that we were on trail. So it was challenging to get enough sunlight to keep our battery charged, to keep the leg charged.
Another challenge was Rob would get some pressure sores from the friction and the moisture in that environment. We couldn't treat it like typical wounds, adding a bandage, because that would add more friction. So we had to just keep it clean, add antibiotic ointment, and then get to the next town where we could actually let it heal for a few days before we got back on trail again. We were both very committed to the journey and to the shared goal, and we never thought of quitting.
My favorite part of the trip was my time with my daughter and Lexi and Rachel. It was very special in that you don't always have that much time to spend with your loved ones.
As we hiked on the Pacific Crest Trail, one of my favorite memories that I'm gonna hold with me forever is we wouldn't always hike together, the 4 of us. So sometimes we'd be separated, whether it be by a mile, 5 miles a day or more. But the people we were seeing would always be the same people. And I would ask them if they met Tumbleweed, and they would say yes, and then I would introduce myself as his daughter. Every single time, they would tell me how amazing and inspiring his story and his progress was.
Rob's confirmed to me that when you're motivated and truly believe in something, anything's possible.
Achieve Tahoe has changed my life in letting me know that I can achieve snowboarding, I can achieve wakeboarding, I can achieve the Pacific Crest Trail, and they have put this in my DNA to let me know that anything is achievable.
Volunteering at Achieve Tahoe has given back so much to me as a person. There's such a great community. I've met so many wonderful people, especially this guy.
I'd like to thank Achieve Tahoe for opening doors for my dad that at one point we thought could have been closed. So it means a lot.
So when we were on the trail, we had a special call when we would get close to one another. And our call in the wild was, hooty-hoo! We would like to bring the Achieve Tahoe family into our trail family with a hooty-hoo. Hooty-hoo!